Macmillan Audio presents Montauk by Nicola Harrison. Read for you by Erin, Bennett. The South Fork of Long Island is like a slender arm extending from New York City out into the Atlantic. And Montauk, the final stretch of land before a drop into the ocean, is a beckoning finger drawing you to her, right to the very end, leaving you with no place to go but back to where you came from. 1. Summer 1938. We left the train and were escorted to our awaiting cars, one for Harry and me, and one for our trunks, packed to the brim for the summer months ahead. I looked up at the manor on the hill and saw it for the first time, silhouetted against the deep orange early evening sky. As we drove up the tight and winding road, tree branches reached overhead toward each other like lovers' hands desperate to connect. And then the road suddenly opened up and I gasped. It was just as it had looked in the brochure, but bigger, grander, even more magnificent than I could have imagined. A Tudor facade with turrets and spires, more reminiscent of a vast and dignified English castle than a beach town hotel. Harry put his hand on my knee and squeezed. "I told you you'd like it here." "Oh, you were right, darling. I can already tell I'm going to fall in love with this place." Several other couples had taken the same train from the city as Harry and I, and a caravan of cars followed behind us. We entered through the carved wooden doors, and as I looked around the grand lobby, which seemed to extend for miles with its enormous exposed wooden beams, stone flooring, and 3 oversized fireplaces, I felt like a guest at the palace. "Mr. and Mrs. Bordeaux, welcome to the Montauk Manor. We are so pleased you'll be staying with us for the summer," the front desk clerk said. "I see this is your first time?" "First time in Montauk, actually," I said. "Some of our friends have been summering here for the last few years, and we've heard such wonderful things." "It certainly is the place to be." She smiled sweetly, as if she were right off one of the posters I'd seen around Manhattan advertising the beach town. "Tomorrow night's the first soiree of the summer. It will be here in the grand lobby." "We wouldn't miss it, would we, Beatrice?" "Not a chance." A jazz band played quietly at the other end of the room, and I could already feel myself getting into the swing of things. "Please arrange for the butler to deliver our luggage and unpack our belongings while we dine," Harry said. "Of course." She nodded, handed us our keys, and had us escorted up to our room. Harry and I first talked about Montauk that April during a pre-show dinner at Barbetta's, our favorite Italian restaurant, behind the Metropolitan Opera House. We were seated at our usual table under the great chandelier when he'd snapped his menu shut. He said he had a surprise for me, then told me we'd be spending the whole summer in Montauk. Or rather, I would. Harry would stay in the city during the week and take the new express train out to join me on the weekends. I resisted at first. We'd already agreed on 3 weeks in Providence together. It was all planned, and I'd been so looking forward to spending time with Harry, just the two of us, away from the hectic, overheated city and his busy work life. "Cancel it. We'll try something new this year," he'd said, taking a swig of his drink. "It will be good for us, Beatrice. A change, a fresh start. You said we needed that, remember?" He was right, of course. I had said that. He handed me a brochure and I looked at the illustration on the cover. The Montauk Manor was the focal point, and pictured below it were men and women engaging in various leisurely activities: fishing, golf, archery, swimming, tennis, horseback riding. One man, or woman, I wasn't quite sure, was in flight gear. They certainly...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?